Good morning. I don't have a lathe, so I don't make anything round. Everything is mine is square. Here's a couple of boxes I've done previously. Here's a couple of beads of courage boxes with the bead in the handle that I did for just recently. Completed these just recently, and Glenn hasn't delivered them yet. This is a finger joint box. This is a little different in that I skipped the middle finger just for put a recess in the lid just for it's an added detail. This is a box I made for my son a couple years ago. Has a Georgia emblem. He went to Georgia.
What kind of wood is that?
This is curly maple, and the ends are ash that I ebonized. This box is put together as just butt joints and dowels. So it's very simple joinery, but maybe you can tell that the lid, I shaped the lid to get a rounded lid. Just this design is a woodsmith set of woodsmith plans that I bought. The ends, the ebonizing this, I used India ink. Is all this is India ink on ash to make it black. Here's a simple a simple box with mitered corners, no splines. This was just scraps I had left over, and I put them together and just a simple lift lid for it. The lid is cherry and the box is ash. And these are shaker oval boxes. These are it's bent wood. Just take a strip of wood about 1/8 of an inch thick, and you steam bend it, tack it together, and they nest. This is what people used to store dry goods before Tupperware. I make small, basic boxes. This is not a basic box. This is not mine. I can't do this. A friend of mine did this. But today there's woodworking, as you all know. There are many different ways to do any given make anything, any given process. What I'm presenting are my methods, and these are my opinions that I have through trial and error, mostly error, that I have developed. And my lawyer says we need a disclaimer, so use what information you get at your own risk. Whatever happens is not my fault. I'm not an expert. Starting out, to make a box, you got to make some basic decisions. The size and dimensions. What are you going to use the box for? Small jewelry box, larger bulky items. This is your decision. From dimensions, everything that is written says you should pay attention to the golden ratio or Fibonacci sequence. The golden ratio is 1.618. So that says to be pleasing to the eye, one side, the length, the width should be about 1.618 times the adjacent side. So square boxes don't fall within that, within those suggestions. If you had, if you had a box that was with a height of 2 inches, then the adjacent side should be about 3 inches. That's not a hard and fast rule. Those are just what furniture designers go by to make items that are pleasing to the eye. And I pay attention to that roughly, but it's not carved in stone. The wood type, I like contrasting wood types, and I like cherry. It's just what you have, what is available, what do you like? And the style of joint, type of joint. The basic types are straight miter joint, a spline miter joint, box joints. You can also have dovetails. You can have any number of other types, butt joints. What I'm going to talk about today is miter joints, spline miter joints, and finger joints or box joints. After you decide what you're going to do, you need to gather your equipment, your materials. Do you have what you need to cut accurate joints? Do you need a crosscut sled? Do you need jigs? Can you cut box joints? Do you need a box joint jig? You're going to make one, you're going to buy one. This is just when you're getting started, this is the process you're going through. After you get everything assembled or get an idea where you're going to get what you need to check your tools. Are your chisels sharp? Is your saw set up? Is your blade 90 degrees? Is it parallel to your miter tracks? You need to make sure everything is set up, ready for you to use, or you need to adjust it, fix it, repair it, whatever, to get the results you need. Making small boxes, you have very close tolerances to get joints to fit. I've got some examples of joints that do not fit that I brought from home that are mine. So it's pay attention to your equipment, spend a lot of time on your equipment, getting it ready, and then you'll get a good result, as opposed to don't do stuff like this. Next thing is just make the box. Here is basically this box. I sketch out everything before I build it, before I make it. This is not a professional diagram. This never was intended to get outside of the shop and be viewed by other people. But it is kind of a storyboard of all my dimensions to keep, so I can keep where the lid and the bottom goes and the spline, so I keep them separated, and everything comes out where it's supposed to. I forgot to mention Doug Stowe. I believe he lives in Arkansas. Anyway, he came and gave a class here in Atlanta a few years ago. He makes boxes. He has several books, but these are very good, very instructional, and there's plans that you can make a lot of different styles of boxes. So this is a good reference. This is my crosscut sled that I made, and this is made this is one like Doug Stowe has. So I got the idea from him. It has one runner, and you put it in one of the table saw slots, and you can make crosscuts, 90-degree crosscuts. You slide it over to the other slot, tilt your blade to 45, and you make miters for miter box. And can you there? Can you see this? I used a wood runner, and here are 3 nylon screws. I drilled a hole through where the runner sticks out past the bottom. I drilled and tapped a hole in there so I can adjust these and keep the sled stable, because the wood's going to move eventually, and this saw is a little different than my saw. So you just turn the screw a little bit, and you can keep it tight. And these nylon screws, they wear pretty quick, but you just unscrew it and put a new one in if it gets too short. Okay, the blade was hitting the throat plate. So this, I don't know if this saw has ever been used on 45 degrees or not. So anyway, I got the sled here, so I don't really need a throat plate. When you're setting the angle, here, does everybody use one of these? It's just a digital angle. These will get you close, but they're not exact. So make test cuts. Set your saw up, make test cuts, make sure your angle is 45. After that, make your cut in your sled. And then when you go back, when you take your sled off, put it back on, don't ever use this again. Use the slot in your sled, because that's what you tested and that's what you got set up. If you use this set up next time, after 3 or 4 times, your kerf in your sled is going to get so big it's not going to be zero clearance anymore, and you're going to get chip out on your pieces. As far as setting up your sled to 90 degrees, you do that first, and that's the most critical. You make your sled, and then you just pin one end of it, put a screw in one end of your fence, and then set it up with a square as best you can. Then you make a test cut, and then you might have to adjust your fence a little bit to get it exact. Are people aware of the William NG 5-cut method? The guy's name is William. His last name is spelled capital N, small g. He's on YouTube. You take a piece, just a piece of wood, plywood, whatever, as big as you can get in your sled. You mark your corners. It doesn't matter if this is square or triangle or rectangle, or it doesn't matter if these corners are 90 degrees. So what you do is you make a cut. Start with number 1, and you push this through your saw, and you just cut off about 1/4 inch. Then you turn it, and you cut down the second side, and do the third. Just make and then the last side. So that's 4 cuts. So you turn it back to number 1, the first side, and you cut off a strip about 1/2 inch. Then you take calipers and you measure the thickness of your cutoff up here, and your thickness of width of your cutoff up here and width down here. And the difference of those two with the formula is the error you have. And then you can adjust. You can adjust your fence up or down, and you can get it within. You can get those 5 cuts within about 1/1000th or 2/1000ths in width, and that's the method I use. I like it because you can get to where you need to be quickly. And trying to use a square, I can't ever get it that exact. So look, he's on YouTube. He's got several videos. You can look him up, and it's a good reference for you.
What was that name again?
William N.G. Okay, now we want to make just a simple miter box. This is a piece I prepared for the box. The inside face, decide which face is your inside, which is your outside. I finished the inside. This is the easiest time to do this. Before you make any cuts, just take a couple minutes, put your finish on here. And then the outside is going to be sanded, and you'll do that later. Before we do that, I want to put this box together. This is the box that was up onto the sketch, was up on the screen earlier, or this is the second box for that sketch. I want to go ahead and put this together now so the glue has time to dry, and we're going to try to put splines in this later. Something I omitted. Mark all your pieces. I use chalk when I'm building them, and mark all your pieces, because you will fine tune them, and so they'll only go together one way. Anyway, so I marked my pieces. This is piece 2, and it fits up. It joins side piece 1 right there. And this is piece 3, and it goes to piece 2. So I got a mark so I can get them back together. trying to,
Something right there.
there we go.
Need more hands.
Okay. This box fits like that, so I will have to, after we glue all sides together, I'll have to cut the top off. So this doesn't have a separate top. The top is going to be installed with the box. So it's a little different design than all those over there. This is the most useful jig I've ever made in my shop. It saves a bunch of time and fingernails. Does everybody know the straw trick for gluing?
No?
You take there it is. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, take a straw, take just a plastic straw, cut it off at a sharp angle. Then you pinch it, so you glue up your joint and you get squeeze out, and the point of the point of the straw goes right down the seam, and it cleans the screw up. It works very well. And then after you use it, this one's got glue in it. Just clip it off and it's shorter.
What Dave is doing here by using the white paper on the saw is when you go into glue up, at this point, if any of the glue comes out and makes contact with the cast iron of the tabletop, it will turn the glue black. So you will never get that out. It becomes a permanent part of the finish.
Just setting this over here for a second. I need a straight edge.
What Dave is getting set up to do there is to make a hinge on 3 of those 4 corners of the box.
Does anybody have any jokes we can tell?
I have a question. You mentioned putting a date on the bottle of glue when you open it. Does that mean there's a shelf life?
Absolutely.
And what is that?
With tight bond, it's about 2 years. With epoxy, it's much less than that. The shelf life is months as opposed to years.
It also depends on its exposure to weather.
Yes.
Like if you keep it in a unconditioned garage, it's much shorter of a life.
There's also a code printed on the bottle by the manufacturer.
Probably like this small.
Well, it's readable, but you can't decode it. It's a code code.
Yeah.
But if you call them, they'll tell you how to read it. Because I had a bottle and I wasn't smart enough to date it. And I had no idea how old it was. I called them, they were quite happy to tell me how to decode the code.
Expired 3 years.
It was 3 years past.
Alright.
So if you use old glue, what's the consequence?
It may not.
It may not glue.
Yeah. It may or may not work at that point. It's not.
You probably won't know until after you've made whatever
Until
you
after
made.
you've- right.
Then
And it falls apart.
It falls apart, yeah.
I have a cabinet with a light bulb in it, so I can put things in there that might get too cold. Keeps it a little bit warm in that cabinet.
Right, so it doesn't freeze in your garage. It stays above.
Good thought.
And for miter joints, these are good clamps.
Did you capture the lid in the bottom, or did you glue the bottom, or just capture the bottom?
They're just captured, but top and bottom are just captured. Sometimes I will put a little dab of glue on them, sometimes not.
And that's to allow movement. All right.
In the,
What makes you decide whether to glue it or not glue it?
Just no good reason. Just sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
Just how you feel.
There's also, if you remember,
One of the rules of thumb is if you're making a fairly large piece, you got to think about the expansion and contraction of the wood. You would be friendly to yourself and to the recipient on the larger pieces to make the surface float on the top and the bottom.
okay, and along those lines, I should have glued the lid because my lid is a little bit loose. So if you would glue it, put a dab of glue on the long grain dimension of the lid or the bottom, just inside where it's captured the groove, then it can still expand and contract, but it won't rattle.
It's gonna get wider if it's gonna move. It's gonna get wider,
Yeah.
but not longer, right? So it won't
Correct.
be still in the middle.
Say that again?
Mayor had
Either
When
one
the,
of you.
when the wood expands, it will expand
width-wise.
width-wise, which will be across the grain.
It expands and contracts across the grain. It doesn't move enough to matter long grain.
Think of it as it gets wider, but not longer, mostly.
Okay, this
The bottom is plywood, right?
If we're careful, we can pass that around. The joints look pretty good.
And the bottom is plywood, so it's not as important.
Okay, thank you. I do not like plywood bottoms. Yeah, the plywood is dimensionally stable, but I don't, all my bottoms are solid wood.
Okay, that's solid.
That's solid wood. The bottom is ash, and the top is, I think the top is walnut, the box is cherry.
Okay.
But I have the small square box behind Buzz there, that's a plywood bottom, because it's just what I had, but I like to use solid wood. And as far as the bottom, you hear this? That rattles. This is an eighth inch thick. If you use bottoms that are about a quarter of an inch, you don't get this. And this, so I use thicker bottoms so this rattling doesn't happen.
When are you supposed to open? Maybe when it dries, you can open it?
There's another step later.
I have,
When it cuts? Oh, okay.
yeah, I have to cut the top off.
You gotta cut it off,
It's personal preference. It's my opinion. That's
No,
it.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
there are unappealing plywoods, but that particularly looks decent.
okay. And the four sides are router cuts,
Table saw.
table saw.
I have a router table. I use it. Routers scare me. I do most of my work on the table saw. And that's just personal preference.
I think you showed one of them, you have a pocket in the lid or something. Is that done with the router?
Okay, those, yeah, we can talk about that now. That's fine. This recess in the lid, this was made on the router table with a bowl bit. No, it was made with a router, not on the router table, just handheld router with a bowl bit. And what I did was I made a pattern. Does everybody know what a bowl bit is? It's a bull nose bit. It's a round bit. I didn't bring mine. But anyway, you can carve shapes in wood with the router. It ends up with the sides of the area you route is curved, but it ends up with a flat bottom. And I go in about a little over 1/16 of an inch at a time, cut it out, and lower the bit, and do it again. And to do that, your router runs against a guide bushing. So I cut a pattern. That's the other box. Out of scrap wood. Before I routed the lid, just cut this pattern. I decided how much room I wanted to leave on the sides and the ends. Then I took double stick tape, put it on here, and attached it to the lid. You know, then I could clamp this in a vise and I just route out the center, and you just pop the tape off and do a little bit of sanding, and you're done. This just adds more interest or another feature to the box. But this is, and this, after you cut the pattern and put it on, you probably got 15 minutes to get that routed out. It's not a long process at all. Okay, I said you mark your pieces. I decided I wanted this as the inside of the box, so I finished this. And I decided I wanted this as the top edge. So I cut I cut the recess in here for the bottom. And so
On the router or on the table saw?
on the table saw, all this is done with a table saw. I just have to, my blade is about 1/8 of an inch, not quite. The kerf is. So you just make a cut, move it over a little bit, make another cut, and I'm shooting for a 1/4 inch bottom on this. So since this is the inside, that means the outside is going to be longer. It's going to taper back. The joint is going to taper back this way. So keep
First cut's the hardest one, isn't it?
the first cut. The first cut defines the rest of them. I have not decided how big this box is going to be yet. Obviously, the height is decided, but after the first cut, we'll have to decide dimensions. I have a clamp in here to hold my work because I cannot get a straight miter cut holding this piece by hand. It doesn't make sense, but I proved several times I can't do that. So I put the clamp in there, and that fixes that problem. For the length, 6 inches is a good number. And my first cut, I had the inside down. So for my second cut, I need to turn the inside up so I will get, so the miter will be in the correct orientation.
Where you mentioned is 6 inches on the top of the cut, that angle there? On the top of
For that, well, and I changed it to 7. But yeah, I measured it, and it doesn't, since I don't have a specific purpose other than to demonstrate a box, the first cut doesn't really make any difference how long it is. Just so I've got enough length here to finish the box.
So Dave, you're just marking it with a pencil. You don't use a stop or anything?
I'm setting, yes, for all future cuts, yes. For the first one, I'm just making a length,
Okay, gotcha.
but I want the long end of the miter up off of the table so I can use a stop block. If it's down on the table, it'll slide under it. So that's where I confused myself. Okay, I've got, if you can see it in the camera, this is my long side of my box. I've got it in the clamp, I haven't moved it. So I want to set up a stop block. When you're making boxes, try to, I try to measure as little as possible. I try to gauge and mark as much as I can. So now, I'm going to flip this over so the miter's the correct orientation. And I'm going to cut my short piece. I want to cut long, short, so the grain, so you get a 3/4 grain match. Here's a 1, 2, 3 block. One inch by 2 inches by 3 inches. This is what a machinist setup block. So now, if I stick that in there, I haven't measured, and my side is 2 inches shorter than my face. Yes, I have messed up. The first, yes. First piece is right, the second piece is wrong. I've got, this is the inside of the second piece, and I've cut it wrong. So either I can go with this. What you have to do, and I don't make these mistakes when I'm not in front of a bunch of people. I swear I don't. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
We just make that one end shorter, right?
No, that's why I brought a different box all put together. That's the glue's drying here.
Julia Child.
Yes. You make your first cut, and then to keep what I forgot to do, this one fits with that. You have to cut a piece out every time you cut a piece, you have to cut a piece out in order to keep the inside and the outside the same orientation. So you can get, and that's what I did not do. Okay, so that's right now. This is turning out the way I expected this, in that I'm showing you more what not to do than what to do.
Look at that.
Just like it was planned.
Try to help you.
Thank you.